Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, summer is officially upon us, and thanks to our friends at Manscaped, it can be your smoothest summer yet with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra Bundle. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use code THPN. The Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra has everything you need to prepare that summer bod. Inside this package, you'll find the star of the show, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth. Dual LED spotlights provide contrast on multiple skin tones, 3 length setting combs, and get this, the trimmer is waterproof. Use Manscaped's liquid formulations to keep that freshness even at the hottest summer barbecues. The Crop Soother Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafe Deodorant. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 5.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. I have both of those, and they are both awesome. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code THPN at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code THPN at manscaped.com. It's smooth summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind. Welcome everybody to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com, a website for all players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. We are bringing on Larissa Mills, who has some unbelievable information for all of us about how our phones are affecting us and how we can create mental skills that can help us be the best version of ourselves. And I met Larissa this weekend. We were at a conference up in Brock University in St. Catharines, Ontario. I was there on behalf of icehockeysystems.com doing some stuff. And I got the chance to interview Larissa, and I came away absolutely blown away. And you guys will hear too. We're literally 5 days after. As soon as we were done, I texted her a couple days later, and I was like, you got to get on our podcast because you are going to make such an impact on our listeners. What a phenomenal conversation this was. Before we do get over to Larissa, let's bring on the talent of the podcast, the one Jeffrey Lavecchio. Vex, what's shaking today, my man?
Not much, bro. This is a great episode. Like I really don't want to belabor the intro here because I think this is one of the most important things. You know, you talked about it on the podcast last week how impactful this was.
Yeah.
And just having her on, like I think this is going to be one of our best episodes ever. I think so many parents need to hear this. I think so many players need to hear this, probably organizations and coaches too. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear this and the effect that negatively is being had here and how easy it is, simple, not easy, to switch it to automatically, almost right away, you're going to have better players, more attentive players, a better team camaraderie, a better experience for the players by doing some of these things. So I'm really excited for this one to get out there.
Let alone mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, crazy.
And she provides some really scary facts about phone use. Some really encouraging solutions on how we could potentially get through the social media and digital age that we're living in. And I think we all know this, like more and more percentages of kids nowadays are depressed and are anxious. And a lot of it comes down to technology and social media. And so like, honestly, I think this is going to be the most impactful podcast maybe that we've ever done based on, you know, having an honest conversation about these things. I will say that like for me, and I think a lot of us, if we reflect, like we're on our phones way too much. And not only is it making us slower in our decision making and this fog and stuff, but it's also kind of ruining our relationships too, whether it's with our kids, our families, like friends, like we just don't communicate as effectively as we used to before we had these devices that are accessible to us at all times. And so, like I've, even in the last 5 days, I've made a conscious effort to put the phone away, and I can't tell you my mental clarity, how much it has skyrocketed and in just this small sample size. And so Larissa is absolutely amazing. Before we do get over to Larissa, we do have some people to thank. First, we want to thank icehockeysystems.com, our title sponsor, the best website out there for all your coaching education needs. They got thousands of drills. They got whiteboard explanations from unbelievable hockey people, ability to go in, draw your drills, send them out to your players before practice, create libraries, and it's just a phenomenal tool. We have partnered up with them for an associations platform where you can get this for every single coach in your organization. Absolute no-brainer. Go to icehockeysystems.com today. Jeffrey.
I want to thank Train Heroic. Train Heroic is the amazing app that allows me to deliver such an unbelievable training experience to anybody, anywhere, anytime. Videos, everything of me coaching, demonstrating, so you know exactly how to do everything. And all of your workouts are tracked and logged all year round. The reason why I'm able to work with so many junior teams, Division I, Division III, youth teams, youth organizations, all these different people. So Train Heroic, thank you for allowing me to help the hockey world in the only way I know how, which is being a meathead in the gym. Also want to say thank you to Cure Nutrition CBD company I'm with. I've been using CBD since the 2017-2018 season. I use it twice a day, every day. Not only does it allow me to recover from my very, very physically exhausting days with my job, but it also keeps my brain healthy. I had 14 conchs on the old dome piece here, scramby eggs, if you will. CBD definitely helps keep my brain functioning. So if you want to try any of their products, you can go to curenutrition.com, use discount code GMBM, or please just reach out to me and ask the who, what, why, where, when with CBD. I would love to talk to you about that stuff.
Boom. Also want to thank NHL Sense Arena. This is a virtual reality training game with over 100 plus drills for not only players, but goalies as well. And we all know how tough it is to get ice time. We all know how expensive it is to have skills coaches and things like that. And this is a great way at home, very cost effectively, to get better and train your hockey sense, train your hockey IQ with these fun games and drills that you can do. And so go to hockey.sensearena.com and use the coupon code we will put in our show notes, because it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. Don't want to say it all. You won't remember it. It's got a lot of letters, a lot of numbers in it. But if you go to our show notes, you'll get 10% off your annual plan. So go to hockey.sensearena.com. This is something that Vex uses in his gym. This is something that has a lot of value and is a lot of fun, very, very cost effectively. And finally, want to thank Helios Hockey. Helios Hockey is a phenomenal product. It's a sensor that you put in your shoulder pads that gives you real-time data, real-time feedback on your play, specifically your stride mechanics and your effort level. They call it a hustle score, which is something that I've seen younger players, they absolutely go gaga for. Data feedback is unbelievable. Use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, and you will get 20% off your pro annual plan. And this is next level, guys. You also get the opportunity. It cuts your shifts up for you as soon as the game is over. It pairs with your video, whether it's an iPad, whether it's Live Barn, whatever it may be, but it hooks up to that sensor. It knows when you're going. It cuts your video up for you. Absolute game changer. So go to helioshockey.com. Again, use that discount code ThinkTank, and you will get that discount. Also, thank you, everybody who continues to listen to our podcast. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting what we do. We try to provide so much positive impact in the hockey world by the guests that we bring on, and Larissa is a phenomenal guest. Before you get over to listening to this conversation, if you can, shoot us a comment, shoot us a rating, shoot us a review, follow us, whatever it may be. It just helps us to get the word out there to more people. So with that phenomenal, life-changing conversation, dare I say, with an unbelievable smart person in the hockey world, you can find her at thementalgameacademy.ca. And so without further ado, here we go with Larissa Mills. The chase for the Stanley Cup continues, and the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is just as hot as it is on the ice. With the same game parlays, live betting, odd boosts, and so much more, don't miss out as the Stanley Cup playoffs wind down. And if you are new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get 150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get 150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/ice for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast. She's wearing a London Knights hat right now.
Oh, sorry.
A London Knights hat right now. No, that's completely okay. They are.
Hey, I gotta support my kid and the Knights, so I gotta do it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There you
Absolute wagon up in the OHL, but we got Larissa Mills. Larissa, how are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm in Clyde now today. It's good.
I love it.
It's good.
Well, I've been talking about you a lot over the last couple of days. We just met, like 4 days ago, I want to say? 5 days ago?
It's been weird since I don't even know what day it is. Honestly, I know my son graduates today, the older one. All I know is it's grad tonight.
There you go. So it's going to be a fun night. But I'm so excited to talk to you. And I think what you do and the effect that you have on hockey families and families abroad is so incredible. And so I want to start this because like Vex and I literally, Larissa, like every day we talk about our why. We are very, very big on our why and how important that is. And you have it right front and center on your website. And so can you just give us a little bit of an introduction into what you do, who you work with, and why that's so important to you, your why?
Yeah, we've noticed a substantial amount of kids in the last 30 years who each year in their formative years are losing their skill sets in terms of their psychological, their mental, their emotional, their physical, their academic. So we have to ask why. Why is this happening? And what we see is it's where they're spending their time. Their time has been spent 6 to 12 hours a day on tech. Now that could mean gaming, phones, back on a laptop, back in school, but majority of their time where our brains are, we're humans, right? We're designed to move, actually. We're designed to move and think and talk. We're not designed to sit and watch. That's where we just become zombies. So where I saw performance taking a dip is in my athletes. I'm like, whoa, why are you going over on your phone? This is when they had the Nokias, like the little like flip things.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no, not happening in my volleyball court. Not happening. Put them away. I put them in a bag. My dad comes in. He's a big coach. He's like, that'll be the death of sports right there. This is 25 years ago. He's like, get them out. So I, of course I do what my dad says. I was only like, 20 at the time. He's like, get them out. So put them in. Our team started winning a lot. And the teams that we have do very well because we reduce their phone time and we increase their mental skills. Because right now kids are coming, they don't know self-talk. They don't know how to stop negative. They're always worried about making mistakes. They don't have any confidence. Well, it's because they've spent 20,000 hours by 16 on a phone. And that's where they're not getting anything. You can't learn anything from a phone except for what you're not. Right? You're comparing yourself constantly to someone else, but social media is raising our kids, folks. And so what they're losing is their self-identity, their confidence in learning who they are, which I did 6 hours a day outside and playing multiple sports. every day, constantly. Like, what sport today, Dad? Oh, you got hockey. What sport today? Oh, we got volleyball. What sport? Dad, we're at football. Dad, I have to go ride the horse. Dad, I got to go back. Dad, we're rowing. Well, you got to get rid of the horse. You can't row and do it. Like, right? It was like, find all your sports that you love within reason. And we were outside constantly playing. Playing develops the brain and social skills and communication. So going back to the brain, the why is because our kids are simply in a crisis of no mental skills. And it's fixable.
Well, let's dive into that, because like you spit some facts that for me were astounding.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I'd like to know which ones those. I got them all like right here.
Well,
so yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, athletes lose 2,000 hours a year to video watching. Athletes, and that's Dr. John Hutton. It's in the sheet that she gave out. Like, I just think about 2,000 hours per year of what we could be doing to help us to develop our mental and physical and all these other skills. Right. So like, how crazy, I don't even know like what the question is, but like is that not insane? 2,000 hours a year we're losing to video watching. Scary is a great word for it. Yeah.
I believe this should be scarapy for doctors. This should be scarapy for everyone else listening. This should be scarapy for parents, because all we're doing is creating kids who don't know how to function in society. Right. This comes down to a societal thing, but where we see it is in hockey IQ. It's just going down.
I want to talk about that hockey IQ thing, because we had an awesome conversation about that a couple days ago. So can you explain a little bit about how this phone and screen usage is actually, I'll say it in a more blunt way, making our players dumber or like our hockey IQ is going
down. But it's making them very difficult to coach. Okay. Because let's say you get a 16-year-old boy or girl. Well, they're typically functioning at a mentality of a 14-year-old. So if you go back to your 14-year-old play systems and your basic skills, I would start with that with your 16-year-olds off at the beginning of the season, because their brains, as soon as you say one thing, if you say 4 things for this drill, they're like, what? And you have to go back. Now, kids today are more visual, right? Because of videos and phones. They're not auditory. Well, this is a problem. And this is where coaches are nodding their heads going, yes, like if we show them, it's better than when we tell them. So what it's doing to hockey IQ is, if you don't know who you are, if you don't have your confidence, if you don't have your mental skills, I wish I could show you my little pie graph. You can't have performance. It's impossible in the brain to perform if you don't have these skills. You can perform to a certain level for sure, but you're not going to make anything probably past 16 years old. I would bet my big bank account on that.
How far deep down are you diving into like the why and the causes and stuff? Is this because when you're using the phone all the day, when you're playing video games all day, you're on an iPad, you're on a computer, is it like dopamine is just constantly being given to you, and then you start searching for it every 8 seconds, or TikTok every 2 seconds? So now you're in a normal conversation and you hear one thing and then it's like squirrel, because you're used to
perfect example. I use squirrel all the time. That's awesome. I didn't know so what we typically see is, if you wake up in the morning, the worst time to check your phone is firstly when you wake up, because it surges your dopamine, your cortisol all the way up, and then your heart rate, your vagus nerve, which is wrapped here and all the way down into your tummy, it starts to get tight. It just starts shaking. And then every time you check your phone, 176 plus times a day, by the way, then your nervous system goes, like it gets a little bit of a jolt, and your heart rate goes up, and your brain goes, please, no more dopamine. I can't handle this. So what happens is the brain gets too much dopamine and it slows the cognitive functioning down. So what we need our athletes to do in high performance situations, especially hockey or soccer, anything fast, is to work in a high performance place where the brain is firing. Right now, it's like their brains are moving, but through sludge. Soon as we taper our athletes off to 4 hours or 3 hours a day, I'm not joking. I have a kid, he goes, oh my God, I feel like everyone around me is slower and I'm faster. This keeps happening. Is this what's happening? And I said, yes, that's what's happening. I'm ready for the puck. I'm looking for the puck, he says. I am like ready. He's in a showcase now. He just made a junior A team. This kid was written off the books. And in 8 weeks, he's seen a difference in his hitting, in his strategy, and his bench work. Because we always want to teach our athletes, if you're on the bench, you got to brain. If you're not braining, you're not using your brain, you'll waste your next shift, right? So make sure you're strategizing, you're visualizing, you're going out there and you're looking at that. But to go to your point, certainly that's a great, I love that, because your brain is getting so much dopamine, your adrenal glands and your body feels fatigued. This is why we get the zombie thing and then we get the hyper thing. But they just want to be calm. As soon as we calm their brains down into green on their traffic light, they're in control and they love it, because now we've taken the control back to the kid to control their phone, and now they can control their minds, and it's beautiful. We call that freedom mode.
So how about like all these schools now, like my little nephews are like, they're like 4 and 2 or something and 4 and 3.
Oh God.
And they're like, they're always on an iPad, and they're always at school. They're giving them iPads and they want them to be, and I'm like,
Leave the school.
I'm like,
Leave the school.
no.
Need to be touching tactical outside and learning.
I lose my mind. I'm like, please stop it. Take the iPad away from the kids. You go out to eat now, every restaurant, every parent, iPad at the table.
Yeah, I'm the only
one.
You're
like, just lazy.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
I'm a Karen at my house. I'm a Karen at tech.
Love it. I love it. And so do you have, I'm sure that we have a lot of parents who listen to the show. So do you have any recommendations for parents whose children are going to these schools where they're giving them the computer, they're giving them an iPad? Because the pushback that I get is, oh, well, they're going to be left behind if they don't use an iPad for the next couple of years.
An argument.
Yeah, exactly.
Not an argument. Any kid can learn how to use an iPad within 3 minutes.
Right.
So in Sweden and in Northern European countries, they're not allowed to touch tech till grade 7, and they're smarter than us.
Love that.
Okay. When you look at their culture, when you look at their mission statement and why these Swedes and Finnish are so far ahead in hockey, it's also because of their value system at home with their children. Ooh. They value being intelligent. They value being traveled. They value the culture and talking and being around other people and challenging each other. They're very blunt. I love it because you can have a conversation and no one gets offended. It's awesome. I love it, right?
That's a thing.
Because you're having a conversation and not a debate to win. A conversation is never to win. A conversation is to learn, right? Ooh. So you want to make sure that you're having, with your kids, let's go back to the tips. Phones stay out of the room. Absolutely, and on the main floor. The other tip that I strongly suggest is getting an alarm clock, a big one that's fun from a young age. If you teach the kids how to rely on their phone, well, they're going to rely on their phone. Teach them that they need to think on their own before a phone, because phones are taking away 30% of our brain use a day. Like,
wait, what?
Do you know all your numbers in your phone? I used to memorize all the numbers. I used to have 50 in my brain all the time. And we used to, right? We don't memorize things as much. Well, now we use Waze and GPS, right, to find our way. Well, I know where I'm going. I don't need a map. I don't need to look at people are relying on tech and not their brains anymore. And this is where coaches are very concerned about problem solving. How are we going to teach kids to be critical thinkers if we're letting tech do the job for their brains? This is a whole other question in education but for our hockey players, I want them to be able to memorize their systems, learn their systems, know what they're doing, and be able to scan and assess and execute without thinking. I think it was Mike McKenzie. I want them to be the fastest non-thinkers on the ice, because our athletes, we train them to be automatic. That's what hockey takes, automatic. And right now kids are like, should I go down? Should I down? You're done. Puck stripped from you. Right. So it's very difficult to see where we are right now in sports. And right now, the only edge left is mental. It's the only one, the brain, and what we're doing to ourselves. And kids could be spectacular if you just put the phones down and we balance the tech use out. That's it. Like controls on parents' phones to kids' phones. You get 1 hour a day. Buy a Trumi phone. I'm partnered with them. They can't get hacked, and only you can control their phones, parents. And have go and spend time with your kids. Kids love spending time with you, and they want time with you. They don't want to have time with you, but you're on your phone. That's not interactive. That's not engaging. And remember, the more we dialogue with our kids, the more, here's the really cool part about our brains. The more we talk to our kids, the more they trust us and feel confident. Their brain develops resilience, whether we want to or not. The more someone we build trust and a landing mat with, where, for years you tell your kids things, they come to us. Well, the big things, you want them to come to you for the big things. Mom, so-and-so got into a fight today. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So-and-so is in trouble, Mom. I think I need your help. I want my kids to come and tell me the good stuff, the stuff that can make their friends' lives change and their lives change. But now parents just are like, yeah, go on your phone. What is that?
Yeah. Right? When you think about it, like, life is about relationships, right?
All of it.
And
all of it.
So like the example you used, like, I can think of times where my kid has been, hey, dad, and I'm like on my phone, I don't even hear him, or
that's dopamine.
Something
right?
like that, right?
Dopamine.
And then when I am fully engaged and present, which is most of the time, like, yep. Yeah, like, it's awesome. Like, they just want
they
to
will
talk and all of that. But like, the way that our just ecosystem is now, a lot of these relationships have morphed from face-to-face interaction to, right. I mean, even us right now, we're on Zoom and social media DMs, rather than like, face-to-face actual human interaction, human connection. So right. Can you talk a little bit more to that and how we need that for our brains to develop, for right. our mental health, all of that stuff?
Here's a really scary thing. If we can't connect with our kids, they will be dysfunctional adults. Okay. They will have behavioral issues. They will not be easy kids. So your best bet anyway, parents, is to connect and talk 2 or 3 hours. I'm not joking. They need 2 or 3 hours a day of talking and playing games. Like, what's that called game? Can I say, I can't say that name. President, the card game where you play president. Well, you know what I mean? So one's an asshole, one's the president.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, or poker, I play sequence with my kids. We play lots of games because we don't have to talk. We just naturally talk when we're playing games. And we have movie nights, and we're very old-fashioned with our kids, but we have to remain old-fashioned in our connections despite being in the age of phones, because we will lose our children to a mental health disorder, whether you want to or not. It will just happen under your nose.
And what types of mental health disorders are we talking about here? Are we talking about anxiety, depression?
High depression from social media use, and high anxiety use, because phones trigger heart rates, right? So remember how in the one talk, I don't know if you're in that one, Topher, but the other talk I did was, a lot of kids say their heart rates are going and they feel anxious. But when we actually go, what'd you do, bud? Are you on your phone before your game? I'm like, give me your phone. He goes out. I said, run 2 laps, take deep breaths. I want you to go back to your visualization. He goes, yeah, it was my phone. I said, is it butterflies or is it anxiety? Well, he goes back, he does the experiment, runs around. He goes, no, it was just the phone. I went on it. You're right. I shouldn't have gone on it. And so we teach them that how solutions about why phones are the worst place that they should be going to feel good. Because all it does is raise the heart rate and make you feel like crap, because everybody looks so beautiful online and is doing beautiful things and perfect things and not showing the real life crap that everybody has daily, right? So connection, communication, and trust are the 3 biggest things that we need as humans to feel good. How about that for, like, if you were to give us fuel, those are the fuel things we need for our brain. If our brain doesn't get them even by the age of 8 or 10, that child can have behavioral issues. But the amount of depression that happens quickly in kids alone in their rooms on tech, I think the number is 47% of kids between 14 and 18 have depression now. And it's situational. It's from being on phones. Take the phones away, it changes, right? It lowers, it goes away. That's significant.
Oof, that's crazy. I want to go back to what you said because, and this is a conversation we had the other day, and you're talking about sitting on phones and everybody has this, perfect life up on social media. And the example that I use is when I try to take a picture of my 3 kids. So, so I have 3 girls.
Can you sit here?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I have 3 girls and they're 7, 5, and 3. And to take a, let's call it, good picture of them it's a tall task. It's a bit of an order. Yeah. So you got,
look at all your squirrels.
Exactly. It's 3 squirrels. The oldest one wants to hold the phone and take the picture. The middle one is pulling on the other one's hair. Like it's just an absolute gong show. So let's say it takes 2 minutes to take that picture. Okay. Yep. So at a minute 59, for whatever reason, all 3 girls are now looking at the camera and you take that snapshot. Boom. There we go. Now, what goes on social media? What am I putting up on my Instagram page? We're putting up on my Instagram page that one picture that looks like my girls are perfectly well behaved. Like this was just the easiest thing ever.
Meanwhile, it was herding cats for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
I know.
For a minute 59, it was a complete and utter gong show. And then for 1 second, but that's true. But what we do is we see everybody puts up their perfect life on social media. Absolutely. Very few people put up their struggles and their pain and all that kind of stuff because we very much want people to think that we're good at what we do or are happy or whatever it may be. But that's not real life. Real life is the minute 59. That was a complete gong show, not the 1 second. So we live in this comparative culture. Can you talk a little bit about how our phones, particularly social media, are just exacerbating this comparative culture within our kids, and not even just kids, but adults too, that is making us feel shitty about ourselves?
So every 10 times we go to look at our phones, everybody who's listening, 70% of the time they make us feel jealous, mad, sad, or that we're bad. Okay. Now,
what was that percentage?
70. Ooh. Every 7 out of 10, out of 10, 70% of the time, you're going to feel bad. So I go to ask the question, why are you going back to your phone to feel bad again? Dopamine. Okay. Dopamine and one more thing, fear of missing out online, because the children's worlds end and begin daily online every day. Their real world to them is online. And they can say what they want, and they can do what they want, and they can show what they want. And guess what? No one's monitoring it. No one. So if I check my kids' phones, I have their passwords. I check fairly frequently to the point where Mom, I'm sorry, but I want to know if someone's bullying you or there's some jerky people who are criminals online are trying to get you to fish, right? So I got to protect you. Just like I would in real life, I got to protect you where the most criminals in the world now are online. That's scary. In Snapchat as well. So
yeah, I have 3 girls teams that I train on the weekends, and one of them left their phone in the gym on Sunday. Yeah. And so I picked up the phone and I'm trying to see click on it to see if there's a picture of the whoever's phone it was, see who it was, so I could, reach out to their parents or whatever, and open the phone up. And I tried to scroll, hoping I'll see the picture because it was locked. And it was literally 100 Snapchats from the last 20 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, what the oh my God, what are you doing? You're doing this much. But I want to ask a question too, because I basically have 2 online businesses. So I am on my phone a lot, which I don't want to be. But right now for me, it's part of what I am doing to grow the things I'm growing.
Because that's where we come in and say, we can help you put it all on your laptop.
Right.
We take athletes, put them all their stuff on their laptop, and you run it on your I run on my laptop.
Right. Yep. And so I do not open my phone and feel bad 7 out of 10 times that I look at my phone. However, I have also curated who I follow. I only follow friends, family, teammates, clients, and people that will make me better.
But this is by design.
Right. Yeah. Because I know, I'm
You know who
only
you are,
following
right?
things that are going to make me
Yeah.
smarter, better, or
Yeah.
clients, family, whatever. So I don't see a lot of stupid stuff that I guess would make me jealous or angry, or obviously when I watch politics, that pisses me off, but that's the state of the world. So I try to stay off of that stuff.
I don't
But
disagree with you there.
sometimes it gets me though. But,
Yeah.
do you guys have a component where you teach parents,
Yeah.
coaches, things
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Hey, they're gonna inevitably, most of them are gonna end up on social media. Here's some tips to
Yep.
make it a better experience
We
for
help
them and
curate
safer.
their kids' social media, but also I have found multiple pedophiles on my children's phone.
Ugh.
Okay. So what I do in that sense. So first of all, I want to take that question, but I want to go back to comparativism for Topher for just one sec. So can you just remind me of that for just 1 second? So we'll go back here. So comparativism is a very destructive thing to our children's brains. If children aren't learning who they are, what characteristics they have. I asked a 16-year-old who's going to the Olympics how they feel about themselves, and they hate themselves. You're a beautiful, strong female woman, and you hate yourself. This is what it's doing. Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not fast enough. And this is what they see online. And to the undeveloped brain who's going through puberty, whacked out hormones, I mean, the brain actually goes through the most trauma during puberty. Okay. Hormones. I didn't know that. When I had to go to school and do my neurology and neuroscience to understand that puberty really does set the brain out. And when we don't know who we are and we're not confident, we haven't learned resilience, and we don't know how to self-talk, then social media will corrupt you and take you down and make you feel like poop. And this is where most people go to feel better. So to answer your question, Topher, the most dangerous thing that we have right now for our children online is social media. It's not texting. It's not Snapchat, really. Although I would like it to be permanent, owners of Snapchat, make it permanent. Don't take it away. And also the video watching, just the constant video watching, they're seeing early signs of dysfunction, brain dysfunction, dementia, slowing. We see it on our athletes. As soon as our athletes go get tested cognitively, come to our programs, they go back and the results kick ass because we have taken the dopamine sludge away and come back. So to go back to your question, to ask about that, say it again really loud so everybody hears, because this is important.
Loud noises. No, I
don't know what we're yelling about.
We're yelling.
That's okay. That means people are going to have to listen.
Toph and I, to preface this, Toph and I are constantly talking to the coaches and the managers and the organizations that listen to us and tell them, you can make your life a whole lot easier by upfront, beginning of the season, laying out, all these different, here are the team rules. Here are the responsibilities of parents, players, and coaches. These are the expectations. These are our goals. Getting in front of all these things that people might have questions on later. I think that this should be something. We have a
strategy system so coaches and parents get right off the bat in the very beginning of the season. There is no messing around.
And so, if you have a couple of tips here for our listeners, coaches who are going to go into their locker rooms in the next 2-3 months here, or parents.
So we have that happening here for hockey's jumping back in the fall. Right now, soccer and baseball are already happening. It's happened. Yeah. So for all those coaches that are listening, if you want to set your season up for success, then help implement phone routines at home and on your time. Your time is very vital, and you can do whatever you want with the phones. If you want them in a bag, put them in a bag. I strongly suggest no phones, mental skills practice, then practice, right? Warming up. Just like you warm up your brain, warm up your body, right? Change it. Add it in right away. I strongly suggest, and we do have an outline, I think, Topher, I don't know if you've got that. There's an outline, 10 tips for parents. Parents, here's how I want to raise the standards on my team this year. Phones is a big part of how our brain functions and reduces functioning in performance. So we want to give our team the best edge by keeping phones out of the room, or keeping phones on main floor, checking the phones regularly, putting controls on the phones. Parents, I want your kids' phone use, especially social media, to be under an hour a day. And are you checking it? These are things that we now, it's like putting out guardrails for them. Let's give them ways to succeed, not ways to fail. right? So those are some of the tips. And then personally going through a phone, putting the kids on routines. Kids love routines. They thrive in routines. Come home, chores. Then what they do is then they come home and they do those. No phones until chores are done. And what are you going on phones for? Why not? Like my kid, he goes and hits like 150 million pucks and breaks my freaking fence. So like he's out there and like he can't come in and have his phone until those things are done in his physio. He's got to do those things. But parents, if the more we demand of our children, here's the cool thing. You build accountability, responsibility. The kids they know nothing else. How we set them up at home is how they go to your coach. And that makes my kid more coachable than that one. And that's the other edge. Because nowadays, kids, the ego, you can't coach the ego very well, right? We talked about that in one of the sessions. But I can definitely work with a kid who's open, who it wants to learn and who's hungrier than other kids. But it all comes from responsibility at home. In fact, the more you give responsibility to a younger child at a younger age, the faster their brain functions and cognitively. It's amazing. And now it's like no kids do chores. No kids do anything. They just go on their phones. Then they go on Netflix. Then they go back on their phones. Then they eat. They're not moving. Right? So obesity by 2032 will be almost a third of the planet.
Whew.
Okay, 2032. That's including kids because of these darn things. So we're not moving enough, right? We need to move 3 or 4 hours a day, not 1 hour a day. I don't know where they got that from. Our brains need to move and biomechanically move. Our brains need to talk to protect our brain from dementia, all those neurological diseases like Alzheimer's. Our brains have to function and we have to talk to do it. So this is where this whole, I call it, my book's coming out, The Quiet Generation, right? How to Raise a Resilient Athlete. And it is all about talking. Like my voice is stripped and I'm losing my voice because I've been talking for the last 5 days, but we have to talk more if we want better communication and better behavior, period.
Crazy.
It's simple though. The answer's easy. The solution is hard.
We talk about
right?
simple, but not easy, right? We talk about
Simple,
that all
but
the
not
time.
easy.
Well, let me ask you this, like,
Yeah, fire.
I heard this. I don't think it was you. It might have been you that told me this, but somebody was talking about how, if you poll a lot of kids today, especially teenagers where their phones are their life, or their world, if you ask them if they could give their phones back and social media was not a thing at all, they'd be like, yes, I don't want it. Like, I know this is really bad for me, but like, so can you talk a little bit to that? Because that's one thing is like, we all kind of know that phones aren't necessarily great for us. And one of the stats, like 90% of athletes are addicted to their phones. We all kind of know that this thing is making us the way that it's making us, but we're still addicted to it. Can you just talk a little bit to that? Like, we know it, but it's hard to not.
Though, I think, Topher, like it's the why. Why did they go back? We're asking about, right? Like why? They're going back because of fear of missing out, FOMO. They're going back to the phones because everything that happens in their world happens online. They don't talk much at school. They're all on their phones. So if they post something in first period, they talk about it in next period. Like they've already sent 180 texts by something like lunch. This is on school time. I'm like, if I was in educational leadership, phones would be banned in my school. There would be mandatory phys ed participation.
Woo!
And you would have to be on a team, like in England and other European countries, you'd be mandatory on a team or in an arts after school because we want kids to be happier and healthier. It's part of, I don't care if you don't want to, find something you want to do and try it. And then they have to try different things over 3 years to figure out what they like. Because here's a scary thought. If we don't teach kids or expose them to a sport by the age of 10, they will quit. They will never be an athlete. How freaky is that? Right?
That is wild.
Yeah. So to go back, it's about FOMO. They don't know what to do, so they go on the phone to keep looking at what's happened.
Well, think about how many times, and this is, even me back when maybe I was like single or something in an awkward situation. If I'm at a bar and like, oh, what do? I don't know who to tell. I look at my phone.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a great escape.
Like a lot of people, do like it's just like what they do. It's like they say smoking. A lot of people are orally fixated with, bringing something to the lips and having it in your mouth and things like that. And
Right.
now, I mean, every time I see all kids, there's
no dances anymore. They don't dance. They just bring their phone.
The nervousness and grabbing the phone and the kids who always wear one AirPod in their ear at all times.
I wouldn't allow AirPods in schools either. That's
my God.
Because wearable technology means you're unavailable technology. You're not available to talk.
I like that.
Okay.
No.
If someone's AirPods are in, remember how we talked about behavior? I don't know if you saw one of the discussions that we talk about. There's observable behavior and there's unobservable behavior. That is an observable behavior where we look at it and go, oh, his earpods are in, so he's shut off from me. I won't talk to them. So if your earpods are out, you're fair game to talk to, right? But now we have a much more introverted society where people don't want to talk, right? They don't know how to talk or communicate. And this is I think a touch point in our history as humans. What are we going to do? Because our kids, I certainly don't want to leave this mess for them to deal with. Right? Because I'm pretty determined to make changes through medicine, medical associations, sport and psychiatry associations, and work with them to implement and let's help these kids, because kids don't have the skill sets to be adults right now. They don't.
Definitely not.
They can't even get hired. They're bringing their parents to interviews with them. 17% of kids. Who does that? Yeah. 17% of kids surveyed between the ages of 17 and 25 or something. There was a survey, I read it, and I think it was actually higher. They brought their parent, who my dad would be like, what are you doing? He'd be like, get your butt out there and do it yourself. Like my dad, highly independent kids. My daughter was making her own appointments by 16 and going places. I want you to be a functioning adult by 16. Making your own jobs, having your own interviews, how to write an essay, how to communicate, eye contact, right? Now kids they've got pro players, can't even look at the reporter.
Oh, it's wild. The lack of eye contact is...
Eye contact is so important for intimacy, for relationships, for friendships. Like, what if you were ignored by your spouse or partner? Like, that is neglect in its smallest form, but it's neglect, right? So it's making your relationships impossible.
100%. I see that because, I work with an academy during the hockey season. So I work with probably around 65 kids throughout the year. And then, probably over 200, a week here in the summer. And then all the people I go and speak to at organizations and things like that. And I see it. Like I've been seeing it for a few years here now where it's like, man, they can't, they're too nervous to like look at you and they don't shake hands. And it's such a different dynamic. They're afraid of everything. They
don't want to be captain anymore. No one wants to be captain.
They don't.
They want it, but they don't want the responsibility. And the question that worries me, and the several NCAA coaches we speak to, they want to be captain, but they want people to like them first. And that's where the captain, like, no, you're not going to be my captain. I want somebody who wants to be respected. Because if you're actually respected, you're going to be liked. And they can't get this dynamic out of their head because they just want everyone to like them on Instagram, right? And like them in life.
Well, that's where and that's where some of that comparative culture of what social media is, because we care. And I'm guilty of this too. It's one of my things that I wish was better about me, is like, I do care sometimes too much about what people think about me. Mm-hmm. And like that social media, that's what it does to us. Yep. It
splits our brains.
Yeah. And we're slaves to this opinion of other people's opinions, when in reality, the only opinion that really matters is your own opinion of yourself. Right. And so it all comes full circle where especially with athletes, 100%.
Only look at yourself. You can't compare yourself to others because only you can develop you. Right? Yeah. Only you can develop you and your coach. Listen to the feedback of your coach. Listen to the feedback of your trainers, because that only your thoughts about yourself and where you're going in your long-term goals matters. And find like-minded. I found that after kids took this program, I found a guy who's like, so we asked for 1 week. This is really cool. And I'll ask you guys to do it. Just do it for 1 week. For 1 week, I want you to listen to all the negative people in your lives. People that give you negative feeling or speak negatively or they complain. So the kids go back and I said, I want you to monitor when you talk negatively to themselves, right? Because there's usually a point in time where they talk negatively twice a day to themselves. I won't say it online. You got to experiment. So what they find out and they come back, this guy comes back, goes, Larissa, I really didn't like that experiment. And I'm like, oh, why, bud? And he's like, well, because there's a lot of negative people out there. And I don't want people to like mess with my vibe that I got going on. He goes, I know what I want to do now. I know who I want to be around. I know what I like. I know I want to be around like-minded people who are goal-oriented like myself. Fantastic. He just hit emotional intelligence level. He is now happy with who he is. He is confident, and no one is going to stop this kid now. He is determined. He's the one you want on your team. Coaches, by the way, I can tell you that who it is if you want. But he's braining. He's firing. He feels faster. And he's like, I don't want to be around. He goes, I can't say the name because then they'll know what it is, but there's a negative nobody. And they keep just whining. And I'm like, but how do you react to it? I say, how do you react? He goes, well, I tried breathing. I tried negative self-talking. And I decided it was best if I just walked away from him. And I chose to go hang out with someone that was more constructive for my brain. Hallelujah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be able to do this experiment. I cut everyone out of my life as negative, literally. Like deleted them out of my phone, blocked them out. Yeah, it's. I don't want people to misconstrue here. There is a difference between negative and people who disagree with you or are giving you constructive criticism. Right. There are people because I will, I will call my guys out in the gym when they're not, giving what I know that they have inside them, and that's not negative. That's me holding you accountable. Totally. There is a big difference. And I would also say, and this is something that Toph and I always challenge people on teams as well, is, if there are those negative people, like be the light, be the one that makes everyone else in the group, in the organization better, want to be there, whatever. And I'm not saying being soft or anything like that, but bring others up around you. And something myself as a coach, played with a lot of coaches who were really negative, but that's how it was done back in the day, the militaristic style. Yeah. Something that I have found that has worked really well for me with literally every group, even pro hockey players, but especially younger players, is praising kids on the team that are doing it hardest, the best, the most detailed. Yes. And just Johnny, get out here in the middle. Johnny, everybody watch Johnny. Johnny's killing it. Look at what this is why Johnny's going to be successful.
This is why Johnny's first line. This is why Johnny's doing it. This is why Johnny's awesome. Right. Johnny's on the bench going, everyone else is going, well, you didn't pass right to me. Oh, we show them how to shut those down. Right. Well, then, go out and show us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Shut those negative ninnies down and shut that negative talk. That way you can go out there and say, you know what, guys, let's just always go back to basics in psychology. Yeah. Let's calm down, guys. Yeah. All get green. Let's visualize, put out our plays. Let's play. I don't want any more penalties. Let's not make mistakes. Let's take it to the simple part of our game. Let's go back to basics. And usually that does. Instead of screaming at them like, why are you losers? And what the frick is going on? Well, you just put their brains in yellow on their traffic light. And now they're going to play in yellow and they're just going to make mistakes. So you just have to wait 20 minutes for the brain to calm back down. So that just wasted a whole period, by the way.
Right.
So your better strategy is to go with like-minded, like yours. You know what, Johnny? I really like the way you went behind the net here. And I really like the way you scanned. Next time, when you see him here, try this for me and tell me what you think. You're not saying change. Yeah. You're just right. And that's all they need. Right. They really are smart kids. We're just not equipping them with the mental skills to be able to get to the next level right now. That's essentially what out of this talk, this is what I essentially wanted everybody to hear, that if kids don't have mental IQ, they're not going to do well as adults. But if you want to perform, you're definitely not going to be as successful if you don't have mental IQ.
Yeah. And some of the things that we were talking about this weekend, and we can kind of end it with this, like you talk about working with different teams and how you'll implement some of these things that you do. And then 2 weeks later, the coach will come up to you and be like, I don't recognize my team right
Well,
now.
what did you do to my team? I know.
Yeah, just the energy levels and the execution and everything, and all of, and a lot of it has to do with just simple kind of like phone routine, mental
Lowering
skill,
the
like
dopamine, increasing the mental skills, and showing them how to be more confident themselves. Killer combo. You won't stop these kids. Once they learn how to do this, they will jump through hoops for you as a coach, and they will know how to be, not only they will have their toolkits, it's weaponizing them, right? For life and for sport. They know what tools to use in which times, and they know now how to attack mode. And I love that about this program is we really do teach attack mindset. And it comes, you can't be in attack mode. Here's a really cool thing. You can't be in attack mode in psychology, out on the ice or on football, whatever, unless you're in green. It's impossible for the brain to be really purely in green mode, like calm, cool, controlled. Because if you're in yellow and you have one negative thought, you hesitate, it'll cause your brain to cause more hesitations. It's kind of simple, right? It's kind of simple, but our kids get faster. Our kids start, the strategy they start thinking about, the hockey IQ just goes right off the boards. Like they start scoring, and then I've got top scorers now in different leagues. It's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even as a case study too, we met 5 days ago or whatever. And like from our conversation, I'm like, I got to change some of my phone habits here. And so I have, but like, seriously, like I feel more mentally alert. I feel like I've been talking to my kids more and my wife, and like it already, I'm seeing just a couple of days later, some of the benefits of like putting the phone away at inappropriate times and just like living how we used to live before these freaking phones came into our lives, There's
a cute thing that I'll say to you that we do for some younger families. We call it the tech drawer. It's the play drawer. So all the tech goes in the drawer. Now we get to play with dad. Oh yeah. And then no, we don't need tech. Let's go play games. So there's this one cool dad who actually has created games to play in your house with your kids to build their cognitive abilities. It's really cool. I'll get you the guy, but it's just playing hopscotch, playing skipping, going outside. Teaching your kids to be bored is an essential skill. And teaching them the word no actually builds accountability and resilience at the same time. So I really, really enjoy playing with kids. They just want to talk. They want to watch. My kids are older. Right now they're asking, Mom, can I have the car to go to the bar? Like I'm at a different phase, but I'm like, put your locator on. I want to know where you are. Because I want to be able to find you because she's 20, right? So you know what? There's a whole other ball game of fear there. And then the other one's driving. And I'm like, oh, Lord, please put I put the locator on in the car too. I can know where the car goes. So tech has advantages as well too. But it's about using the tech socially. I'd rather use the tech for tech, never use the tech for talk. I want it face to face. Yeah.
I like that. Well, Larissa, this was awesome. I'm sure it's going to drive more conversations, but for all of our families that are listening to this right now, where can they find your stuff?
Oh, really simple. Larissa, I Parent Gen Athletes is the parenting portal. On Instagram, there's thementalgameacademy.ca, which is our website. And then we've got at the Mental Game Academy on Instagram. If you want to professionally book a discovery call with me as a coach, then I would go and email us at mentalgameacademy@gmail.com from there. But all I can say, parents, is make your life easier by putting the tech away. And kids really are happier when they don't have it. They're so much happier. We're happier when they're on it, but it makes your life harder in the long run.
Ooh, spitting truth. Spitting truth. I love that.
Sorry. That's pretty much all this mouth does, apparently.
Well, thank you so much for your time here today. We're going to grab you here for a couple more minutes, and we're going to do a quick 10 questions with you, and this will be housed on our Hockey Think Tank community website. So for everybody that's not in there yet, go to community.thehockeythinktank.com. Okay. But Larissa, awesome stuff. This is going to make such a huge impact for our listeners, and we appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.